And it wasn't until we entered the Dairy Industry Awards and it made us actually sit down as a couple and really evaluate what we both wanted as a couple, where we saw our relationship going, our family and our business, that for me it sort of sparked something. It sparked a passion for dairying and a passion for our business. It kind of was spurred on by the fact we won the variable order section of the Taranaki competition, which for me I've always been about competing and winning and striving towards goals, and this sort of sparked something in me which was exciting and new, and it then made me really focus and sit down and taking on more responsibility with our business and where it was going. I'm Kate Murdoch. I'm from Pātea in Taranaki, originally from Taupo. So had never grown up on a dairy farm. I'm a townie, as my husband calls me now, but it's not quite the same title that it used to be. Growing up I was always encouraged to be the best I could be. I only have a sister, so my dad, never having sons, we were always encouraged to be whatever we wanted to be. And as it turned out, my sister and I both ended up in slightly masculine industries. She's an industrial designer and I ended up being a marketing manager for Taranaki Rugby. So we couldn't be any further from feminine roles as it could be. But I'd always taken through life, and because of being told to strive for what I wanted to do, I'd always taken on leadership roles, whether it be at school or in sport or at university, whether it be student councils or whatever it may be. And I took that into when I went into university, and I met my husband Aaron, who was he was travelling on his own little path of developing his career in the dairy industry, which could be further from where I saw myself as being, living overseas in some high-powered sports marketing job. And as our paths met, I sort of changed what I had in mind for where I wanted to be. We sort of started travelling our own little path together, and that saw us with our eventual goal of having a farm one day. How we got there we weren't quite sure, but we were sort of travelling in the same direction but sort of on opposite sides of the path. He was focusing on the farm business and developing the farm and cows and everything else. For me, I was still really focused on my career, and that still saw me be involved with events, event management roles in Rotorua, where I worked on the Lions Tour, the UCI mountain biking champs, and eventually through those sorts of events got me into my job at Taranaki Rugby as the sales and marketing manager. So for me, success has always been about setting a goal and getting to it, and being focused on interacting with people and being in charge and being the leader. And for me, that's what my job gave me. It gave me a sense of who I was and my importance in life and that sort of thing. And my whole life changed in September of 2008 with the birth of our son Flynn. And for us as a couple, we decided that I was going to give up work and I was going to be a stay-at-home mum. At the time, I didn't realise the impact of that decision would have on my life. For me, my life, and I didn't realise it at the time, was defined by this person here. I used to go by my maiden name at work, and Kate Stewart, who was the sales and marketing manager at Taranaki Rugby, was a really important person who had an amazing role, and she, had a lot to give to people. Where Kate Murdoch, the mother, the dairy farmer's wife, the cook, the cleaner, the relief milker and calf rearer, tended not to have the same level of importance or passion for life, really. And I just felt really lost. And for me, this coincided with shifting from New Plymouth to Pātea. So from being 10 minutes from the coffee scene in downtown New Plymouth, I was now in Pātea, where we have a 4 square, the Pātea Maori Club and a pub, and that kind of was what my life was about. And I was really lost and depressed really about where I was going and what I was doing. And as much as I was involved in our farm business, it was only on the periphery, because I saw Aaron as being the leader in that role. He had the passion for dairying. He'd grown up on a dairy farm. It wasn't my thing. And it wasn't until we entered the Dairy Industry Awards and it made us actually sit down as a couple and really evaluate what we both wanted as a couple, where we saw our relationship going, our family and our business. That for me it sort of sparked something. It sparked a passion for dairying and a passion for our business. It kind of was spurred on by the fact we won the variable order section of the Taranaki competition, which for me, I've always been about competing and winning and striving towards goals, and this sort of sparked something in me which was exciting and new. And though still living, as much as I had some focus on a work side, personally I still felt a bit lost, though I had sort of a role within work, this home, just the wife or the house mother, as much as it's an important role, didn't feel like much to me. So it was getting involved with Dairy Women's Network and being asked to be part of the organising committee for the conference this year that has made me give me a bit more focus as to what I wanted to do, and give me a little bit more passion that there is other people out there in the same situation and going through the same thing. And it's also sparked a new thing for getting involved in the community. I'd never ever had problem with meeting people or getting involved, and moving to this new isolated place had done that to me. I just felt removed and isolated, but getting involved with the network and getting involved with meeting people has enabled me to get involved with playgroup. I've started netball in our community, which hasn't been there before, and we've now got 40 women involved, and with 4 new netball teams starting this season. And there was a need for women in our community that kept saying, there's nothing for us to do. So in my event management roles, I used to do acroaerobics instructing, so I've now started twice weekly acroaerobics classes, and thinking that it'd be great if we got 10 people along. Our first class we had 25, and it's started growing, and we've now got 30 coming on a regular basis. The pools probably could only fit 15, so we've got to diversify a little bit for what we can do. But I've got women now travelling, 25 minutes, half an hour from Waverley to come to our acroaerobics class. So it's now, through this whole process and getting involved and making contact with people, it's given me a new focus, a new passion, and made me realise that yes, my career was important to me at the time, but now I have a new focus, and my family is important, and where that path of my family goes is important, and getting involved in the community and reaching out to people, because there are so many people out there with the same problems and issues and experiencing the same thing as you. So yeah.